What if you bought your dream home in a quiet neighborhood, only to discover that someone had been secretly watching it for years? Not just watching the house, watching you. And what if that person started sending you letters, describing your family, your children, and the inside of your home? This is the chilling real-life mystery of the Watcher house, a case so disturbing that it shocked the entire country. And the most terrifying part? No one ever discovered who the Watcher really was. It all started in 2014. A successful family had just purchased a beautiful old house in the peaceful town of Westfield, New Jersey. The house looked perfect. It had tall trees surrounding it, large windows, and a classic design that made it feel like something straight out of a dream. They had spent over $1 million on the property and were excited to start a new chapter of their lives. At the time, the family hadn't even moved in yet. They were still renovating the house, fixing small things and preparing it for their children. One evening, the new owner walked to the mailbox outside the house. Inside was a single envelope. It looked old-fashioned. Handwritten. There was no return address. Curious, he opened it. The letter began politely. "Dearest new neighbor, welcome to the house." At first, it seemed like a strange welcome letter from someone in the neighborhood. But then the tone changed. The writer claimed that his family had been watching this house for generations. According to the letter, the house had a long history, and someone had always been responsible for observing it. The letter ended with a chilling signature. The Watcher. At first, the owner thought it was just a weird prank. Maybe a neighbor with a strange sense of humor. But the letter continued with disturbing questions. Have they found what is in the walls yet? The owner felt a sudden chill. What did that mean? What was supposed to be inside the walls? The letter continued. I see that you have brought young blood to the house. The writer was talking about the children. The family suddenly realized something horrifying. Someone nearby was watching them closely enough to know about their kids. The owner immediately contacted the police. Investigators examined the letter carefully. They checked the envelope for fingerprints. They looked for DNA. They even tried to analyze the handwriting. But the results led nowhere. No clear suspects. No clear answers. For a while, things seemed quiet again. The family hoped the strange letter was just a one-time prank. But a few weeks later, another letter arrived. This one was even more disturbing. The Watcher mentioned specific details about the renovations happening inside the house. Walls being painted. Contractors coming and going. Rooms being changed. Details that could only be known by someone who was watching the house very closely. The letter asked strange questions. Is the basement finished yet? Will the young blood play in the basement? The family became deeply unsettled. The Watcher wasn't just sending creepy letters. He knew things. Real things. The kind of things only someone nearby could observe. Soon, a third letter arrived. And this one crossed a terrifying line. I am pleased to know your names now, and the names of the young blood you have brought to me. The family was shocked. They had never shared their children's names publicly. Yet somehow, the Watcher knew them. At this point, fear completely took over. The family installed security cameras around the property. They added stronger locks. They contacted the police again. Investigators began questioning neighbors around the house. Several homes nearby had clear views of the property. Anyone living there could potentially watch the house. But no one admitted to sending the letters. One neighbor was considered suspicious because he lived close enough to see the backyard. Another neighbor had a strange personality and had lived in the area for decades. But after questioning them, police still found no evidence. The letters had been processed through the local post office. which meant the sender likely lived somewhere nearby. But that didn't narrow things down enough. The watcher continued writing letters, each one stranger than the last. One letter said the house had been waiting for the family. Another suggested the house had secrets hidden inside it. And then came one of the most disturbing lines. "Do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested?" The family was horrified. The letters felt threatening. Like someone obsessed with their home. Or worse, obsessed with their children. Eventually, the fear became too much. The family decided they could not move into the house. The dream home they had purchased for over $1 million became a place they were terrified of. Imagine owning a house, but being too scared to live in it. They tried to sell the property. But the story of the watcher had already begun spreading. Potential buyers heard about the mysterious letters. Many refused to even look at the house. The property became famous across the internet. News channels covered the strange case. People everywhere asked the same question. Who was the watcher? Some believed it was a neighbor who had become obsessed with the house. Others thought it might be someone who previously lived there. Some even suggested it could be a prank by teenagers in the area. But there were darker theories too. What if the watcher had been secretly observing the house for decades? What if the letters were just a small part of a much larger mystery? Police continued investigating for years. They looked into previous owners. They checked old neighborhood records. They interviewed dozens of people. But every lead ended the same way. Nothing. No evidence. No suspect. No answers. Eventually, the case went cold. The identity of the watcher was never confirmed. Even today, the mystery remains unsolved. And the house still stands quietly in the peaceful town of Westfield. From the outside, it looks like any other normal home. But the story behind it is something no one in that neighborhood will ever forget. Because somewhere out there, the person who called himself the watcher might still be watching. And the scariest part is this. If someone could secretly watch a house for decades without being discovered, then how many other houses might have someone watching them too?